Good evening, team. Just checking who is online. Welcome to episode 11. We're up to now of the Big Show Live. We're gonna do something a little bit different tonight. We're gonna start to move out of just NF Teams talk. NF Teams will always have its own slot. Eventually, we'll bring back an NF Teams only slot, which will just go through the usual stuff that we do with the NF Teams banter week in, week out. But we will either create a second show or half the show where we'll talk about some of the projects. And tonight, the projects that we'll largely go through will be stuff that I'm involved in, stuff that I know a little bit more intimately. But as the weeks go on, we'll bring a little bit of a sort of alpha feel to the show, where we just touch on 3 or 4 projects really quickly that we think might do well, or we think there's a good chance for whitelist or a good chance for a quick flip, and that aligns with one of the projects I'll talk about tonight that most of you would be aware of, that I'm involved in, the Wheel Together NFT project, which I'll just touch on a little bit later on. But obviously the main reason we are all here is this week's the last Sunday of the month, which means it's the monthly giveaway for the Rebuilding Drakes. Now, we've already got 9 people entered. They've won or come in the top 3 from heats 1, 2 and 3 across the Sundays already in February. And tonight we will do heat 4, so the last Sunday of every month we'll have a heat, and then the top 3 from that heat will roll straight into the monthly draw, which is where you can win your share. So this month, the people who win will automatically get a 25% share in that team, but they will retain that 25% share for a month, and then next month we'll add an extra 2 people onto the 50% that I'm giving away in the team, and obviously there'll be 4 people sharing that 50%, and then the percentages will keep dropping down, and we've committed to doing that for 6 months, so we end up getting 13 people in total in the team, which will be one of the higher shared teams in NF Teams. And that's sort of the idea. We start to create a team where it's almost a NF Teams community team, and we will play it that way. So we've got a heat and the final tonight, so 2 people by the end of the stream. We didn't stipulate that people needed to be online. I appreciate Sunday at this time is not everyone's available every week. I know we've got some regulars who I really, really appreciate come on every week, and to be honest, it would be good to see at least one of the regulars take it out. But as you know, with the duck races, they're very unpredictable, so got no idea exactly what's going to happen. We'll get to the duck race at the end. I promise I won't keep you too long going through. We're just going to briefly touch on NF Teams as we normally do. I'll rattle through a few of the projects that I want to highlight and bring to your attention, maybe in a bit more detail than you know about it already. And then we'll get into the duck race, both the heat and the final. Bringing up gas is now it just dipped below 20 for the first time that I've seen probably ever, and this is the lowest gas has ever been for any of the big shows. So we're going back 3 months now. We've been doing the stream. 19 Gwei, the gas was just a minute ago. So never a better time to buy in some respects, but as you all know, I assume you know, there's a lot going on, and just now more than ever, approach your investments with caution. The ETH price, as you can see here, is down, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of volatility in the market. So obviously on the big show, we never give financial advice, and we always ask you to do your own research, but now is definitely the time to take that a bit more seriously, because there's a lot of unexpected things happening. Okay, let's get to NF Teams. NF Teams has had what I would say, Pokemon Hatter has just commented in the chat. Evening all. If you've got any questions, comments, let us know you're listening. What I might do whilst I'm just talking to this, I might just go and send a quick tweet out to say that we're live, because I always forget to do that, and I probably need to promote this thing a little bit more and try to get a few more eyes on it. So I'm just going to stick another tweet out just to say that we are live. There we go. Okay. 0.129 floor. So floor's the lowest it has been for quite a while now. We'll take a look at the analytics of it in a second, like we usually do. But the floor has trended down, and also activity has. If you look at activity over the last 30 days, the average price is 0.22. You look at it over the last 14 days, it drops down to 0.19. And then the last week it's dropped down to below 0.19, not by much, but just shows that we're seeing a slowdown. That does link in with the wider market. So there's probably part of the market that is affecting everyone, but I do feel as if we're in a little bit of a slump after a really good month or two with NFTs. You know, the start of January through February. There's lots to come. The jerseys are coming. You know, Steve stuck out a tweet today talking about the 3D players that he's working on and the amount of investment he's putting into that. So, you know, those are big things for the project. And for those of you that have been keeping an eye on what the panel have been discussing, there's been a lot of chatter around that about how we can bring new and fresh eyes to the project. But to be honest, I think when the floor was 0.18 about a month ago, I was really bullish that it would stay around that price. I picked up at that time a couple of teams at 0.15 and 0.16. They were decent teams at that price. They were bargains. I wasn't necessarily looking to buy, but in hindsight, I probably didn't make the right call in the short term, and they were definitely short-term players. The Beard Bears group, which we'll talk about in a second, didn't get to 25%, so that floor sweep hasn't come in. And then the general NFT market taking a bit of a dip. Fortunately, we can hold on to these things for a bit longer, and I absolutely expect NFTs to get above 0.2 eventually. When that will be, I'm not sure. We're sat here at the end of February. I think if I was to guess, I think the market will see a bit of a comeback, hopefully middle of March, end of March. And that will result in us getting back up towards that 0.18, 0.19 where we were before. And then into early April, hopefully we're surpassing that 0.2 as we build, and there's a bit of market and spend and some, just a few different ways of pushing the project along. In terms of what's available at the moment, Haitiantage, Void's on, Joey V's on. Joey V's going to win the heat and take out the monthly final for a share in the rebuilding Drake. He's bullish tonight, so fingers crossed, Joey. CM's on, and Denmark has already got a pick, a selection in the event as well. So just covering off a couple of more things with NF teams. I looked at the floor. There wasn't a lot that I was really loving that I would point anyone into. I think there's some teams that have been hanging there for a while. I do like the rainbow skin trait. I think that's pretty good. The exhaling happy feet, obviously with the Newcastle shirt. I thought the levels were okay on that. That's probably around about 240, 250 levels for a floor team of 0.14. It looks okay. I thought that was possibly a team, maybe try and get a wrapped ETH bid in with gas so low. People are accepting those a little bit more. I've seen across multiple projects that the wrapped ETH stuff is going in. But to be honest, nothing really jumped out. I went through and had a look for stats teams, and there wasn't really a lot there. I think there's been a couple of little bargains come up. I think I put a bid on the Gritty Speedsters earlier, but it was pretty low. I like the smart contract quackers as well, and I'm trying to snipe some duck teams when they come around. But nothing that really screamed, let's get on the stream and tell everybody to buy this bargain. And that's sort of been the way of the week, really. There's been a couple of things that have come up that I thought, oh, that was okay, but there hasn't been a lot. I think there was a sale of a pretty good gold earlier on in the week, but yeah, I think it's just been a bit of a flat week everywhere. So I thought this was probably a good week to say, you know what, let's not spend and rehash and go over. Yeah, the expanding Cyclops was going to be the other one I talked about. Let's not spend all week going over NF teams when we've got the duck race. Let's have a look at the levels. Not Yeah, the levels were pretty good. I remember looking at this. The levels were over 250, which is nice. But this was at point 8. It was a very 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 nice pickup. It's a very 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 clean gold. The Cyclops looks good in gold. It's got plenty of the little flexes, the gold flexes on there, and I think it just looks nice. It pops off the page. I think for point 8, probably would never have expected that to get below 1/8 for that sort of that quality of a gold team. So I think that was probably, I wouldn't say it was bargain of the week. I haven't seen, or maybe I've missed there wasn't any super bargains, but that was pretty good. Floor price down at 0.129 again. As I've said, that's the lowest it's been all year, back towards the sort of pre-Christmas times. We've seen volume drop over 7 days, and we haven't seen the volume of sales. The sales are really down as well in terms of the total number. Just taking a quick swig of the Mountain Goat beer. Very enjoyable beer, apparently. Hoping to get a sponsorship longer term with Mountain Goat. So if anyone knows anybody at Mountain Goat, let me know. Matt Benwell, evening. Good to have you on here. Justice, yeah, great looking Cyclops. At 0.8, you would have picked it up. I think a lot of us used to check. I used to check multiple times a day, and I can't remember if I've talked about this on the stream. Not to go off on a tangent, but I like to share some of my stories with you. So, I used to work. I'm based in Sydney. I'm moving to Melbourne next week, relocating, and I had a job which was a national job in healthcare that I was looking to. I should have been able to do it in Melbourne, and for a few different reasons, it turned out I couldn't. So I resigned from that job a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago, and decided I'm going to take 3 months off, spend a bit of time with my little boy who's 11 months old, and actually give a bit more time to NFT. So I've actually, over the last couple of weeks, started to dig my teeth into it a little bit more. And I've had a bit more time, but I find myself being, when I didn't have as much time, I was sort of just focusing on a couple of projects that I really was into. So I would check NF Teams 3 or 4 times a day. I'd have my lunch break at work. I'd open up NF Teams and see if there's anything on the floor. But now I'm spread a bit more across a lot, and my eyes are being open to a lot more going on. I probably only check NF Teams like once a day. Jump in the Discord, see if there's anything in the NFT strategy chat. Have a quick skim of that. This week I was in round 4 of the tournament and nearly missed the deadline. So I probably need to focus a little bit more given the holding that I have on it. But I feel as though I'm justified in doing that at the minute, because I think there's a bit of a lull with NF Teams. We're just going through waiting for a couple of things just to come good, the jerseys and sort of whatever's going to happen with tournament 2, and then a little bit more on the players. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing more NFT based stuff generally. And you'll see me online a bit more, but I don't necessarily think that'll correlate with more NF Team stuff. Floor price is steadily coming down. I might just have a look at the floor price over a little bit of a longer period. We might just be able to go back and see. Yeah, so this is, if we go back to all time, when were we last back here? So we're now back to, yeah, it was Christmas, just about Christmas, and we took that dip up at Christmas. So we're back to Christmas, 2 months ago. We've sort of reverted back to that, which again isn't the end of the world. We use floor price rather than the relative. We use it as a metric up and down. How's it trending? But it sort of feels as if we have trended back a little bit. The other thing is the number of owners. We always have a look at the number of owners, and I just like to keep that on everyone's radar. Absolutely static. We saw a little bit of an increase in the last couple of days. We had a few extra. Yeah, I think this is yesterday. We had a couple of extra pop in. But overall, across the week, we have gone up a couple of extra wallets, but it's nothing groundbreaking. And across the month, when you start to look out, it's pretty much static with a few ups and downs along the way. So nothing, to be honest, nothing that really jumped out at me in the data either. So a pretty quiet week all in all. We don't tend to go into too much detail on the actual stuff that's happening with NF Teams week to week. There's always stuff happening. The community involvement channel is popping along. Shout out to the Steel City guys and Coup doing a great job, continuing to pump out week after week, month after month, spending their own time to pump out stuff. Which, it's easy to get on these things and start on the hype train and everything's new, but to continue doing it week after week after week, it does take time. And I've obviously, as I just explained, I've got a bit more time to be able to do this now, but people have full-time jobs and families, so I just wanted to acknowledge that they keep on pumping out good quality content. So when you get a chance, listen to their stuff and have a read through their stuff in the community involvement channel. Just go back to the chat. Justice, full-time moderator slash trader. I've got some plans. Plans will be a bit more revealed probably over the next couple of weeks. I think it's just a very interesting space. I think there's opportunity. My knowledge and my experience, you know, has come on leaps and bounds, just like a lot of you, just by chatting. The NFT strategy channel in the NF Teams Discord and all of the sub channels, I've learned more in that, over the last 3 months than any other channel. But opening my eyes to other projects. There's just a lot of new people are coming in, so relatively my knowledge is a little bit further on than theirs. So you're able to help a lot more people. There's a lot more opportunities, and yeah, moderating is something that I like to do. I'm officially a moderator across 5 or 6 different projects at the moment, but I'm looking to refine that a little bit and try to get probably a bit more quality over quantity now that I've got a bit of an idea of what I want to do. Denwar makes a good point. It's a good time to be accumulating NF teams. I keep on seeing this. I do have some arguments with some people, but I am still super bullish on NF teams. Long-term player. If you can be picking up teams at 0.12, I saw one go for the other day. It's absolute bargains. The ETH price is down. The NF teams floor price is down. They're almost back to mint prices in terms of actual dollars. So these are really, really good times to be picking up NF teams. Now, whether I agree, whether I've got good, bad, or ugly things to say about NF teams at any one time, I'm usually just honest and transparent about it. And anybody that I would talk to, and I'll continue retweeting and posting and chilling NF teams because I genuinely, hand on heart, think it's still a very, very good investment. So just going back a few steps. So Pokemon header, we will bring that up. That's the next slice we're going to go to. The next slide, we'll look at the total overall for sale. And the over, so CM mentions there that I might as well bring it up on the screen while we're talking about it. The OpenSea delisting. So we had a lot of teams in NF teams, just like a lot of projects did, where the people had listed stuff for 6 months, not knowing what they were doing. The default was 6 months a while back, and it would just sit there at 10 ETH. You had to pay to cancel it, so nobody would. They've sort of killed that contract, so anything that was pending has been taken off. So I think it was around the 25th or the 26th there. There's a massive drop in teams, and we're now down to 312 teams, which is the lowest we've ever had. 3%, but a lot of that's because we've been able to cull off that group of listings that weren't really proper listings. Having said that, 3% listing is again a fantastic metric to associate with the project. And whilst a lot of projects have seen a dip in that because of the OpenSea contract change, it's something that we should be super bullish about. It was sort of bobbing around, trending up, trending down, not going anywhere for a few months, just like a few of the metrics with NF teams. But I think it was always a good one to look at. The other one that we always look at is this graph, which has sort of grown its own legs out of control now. Disappointingly, the grey line in there, it's probably hard to see, but the teams below 0.15 is sort of trickling up. We've got 12 teams available at the moment below 0.15, which a lot of us said, let's just write that part of the graph off because we're never going back there. We have seen a drop of the 0.25 ETH teams below that price and the 0.4, but I think that's partly attributed to, again, the OpenSea listings being chopped off, but nothing super interesting there. I think it was trending back up, and that's just a sign of a bit of the lull that we're seeing with the project. But I don't think that's necessarily anything to worry about. Let's have a look at go back to the chat. Team of the week would have been, well, we'll touch on Beard Bears in a second, so I'll save that one. Let's have a look. Yeah, just as to say, silly to sell now. With the declared jersey drop coming in about a month, and Steve dropping on Twitter today. I nearly screen grabbed that tweet just as I should have probably done it, but Steve just casually on the fourth line of a tweet earlier on, just saying, I've just dropped 500, half a million Aussie dollars on a firm to design our 3D players. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know how many people it is, if it's people completely outsourced, if it's multiple people we know helping. I'm not really sure, but, to any project that does that, and it's just the Steve way, because, and maybe it will happen. The marketing of the project, we don't really do it. If you can imagine any other NFT project that was spending half a million on essentially what is likely to be an airdrop for their project, it's not the main NFT. You would think that it would be front page news, getting absolutely smashed across the socials, and it is. It was literally the third or fourth line in a tweet that Steve had today in a conversation. So we're very understated in that sense, and our day will absolutely come. But what I would like to see for holders is when those big things come out, that we are actually pushing and presenting that, whether it's through the NF Team's Twitter channel, or if we have someone that runs that separately, and it becomes a bit more of, not necessarily shilling, but just promoting ourselves and pumping our own tires up. Because if you don't do it in this space, you don't. It's not that you die. Plenty of projects don't do that and do okay. I just don't think you do as well as you can all the way through, and I'd like to get some fresh eyes on the tournament. So, um, then where in Melbourne are you moving to? Moving to Hawthorne, mate. We're just renting to begin with. Being a full-time NFT person doesn't bode well with Mr. Banker at the Commonwealth Bank. So we've put on hold our plans to buy. I don't want to go into the depths of my personal life, but here we go. Moving to Hawthorne, so in a sort of suburbs in Melbourne. But we'll get some. What we will do is we'll get a Melbourne drink set up, even if it's just a handful of the guys. We've been saying it for ages, so we'll definitely get it done. Just commented on there, and Justice obviously drops in most weeks and gives us a bit of an update. It's good to have him on from a panel. He's obviously one of the representatives on the NF Teams panel. They suggested mid-month tournaments slash tip and comps. Yeah, doing something a little bit ad hoc, out of the box, just to those players that go out in the first round. Some people have got one and two teams and they bomb out in the first round. It's a long time to wait for a month, and I think you just see some people switching off a little bit or selling their teams and thinking, I'll pick it back up later. I think that would be really good, just to perk things up in the middle of the month. There's a CM was saying there's a nice duck on Lux Rare for 0.14. If anyone is in the market for another team, well, while I'm talking to you, let's go and have a look at that. I think we might do that. Steve's going to give us Twitter Spaces shortly. Again, I think that's something we should be doing just every now and again, jumping on Twitter Spaces. Some of that can be community led. It doesn't have to be Steve jumping on all the time. He's an incredibly busy man, and you could probably argue that if he's jumping on, he's not doing other things. So I always sympathise with his position, because I know how busy it is. But look, we can. I think we can push a few of those extra things in terms of the communication, and it would be good. Let's go. Yeah, we'll definitely get something sorted for Melbourne, boys. We'll sort it out. I'll make it part of I'll have plenty of time on my hands to do it. So let's just quickly have a look at Lux Rare. CM was saying there's a nice one on here for 0.4. Oh yeah, there is. That is nice. Composed ducks. I was just saying that I like the rainbows. I haven't got a rainbow duck either. It's interesting. What's the... Oh, it's got 98 look, 30 skill, 67 defense. It's actually got really good stats. 270 stats. I'm going to buy that. That's there at the end of the stream. I'm buying it, just so you know. Okay, we move on from NF Teams. I just wanted to give a couple of minutes, and I'm going to run through a few projects. I am almost self-promoting and chilling. It won't always be this way. I will branch out into projects you've never heard of, and there's one of those that might come up at the end of this. But let's just go. Oh, sorry, I just realised you guys haven't been seeing what I was seeing for the last 30 seconds. I'll just bring the screen capture back up. I just brought up Lux Rare, sorry, the composed ducks. Um, this was the Lux Rare one that CM's pointed out. Thanks, CM. Yeah, I had the screen blocked with the graphs and put that over the front. I think it's a very nice team. I'm going to be picking that up at the end of this if it's still going. Look, we'll jump on to Beard Bears. A lot of you know this about this project intimately. For those of you that don't, you've been living under a rock because I've been talking about it for a long time. There's two reasons I'm going to bring this up. I'm a mod at Beard Bears, and I've really enjoyed what the team was doing there. It's really, it's not a one-man team, but it's a one-man fronted team with Damien. He is in the NF Teams Discord, but he runs the Beard Bears Discord as well as the project. Very smart guy, background in sport analytics and betting. Done very well in that space. Super passionate, super engaged. Will, I think, you know, till his dying breath, run Beard Bears to make it the best thing it can be. We had the reveal today, and I think anybody who was involved in that, we had a 2-hour Twitch session looking at the Beard Bears reveal, and it was great. I think the art's definitely grown on me over the months, and some of the traits that we've seen have been, it's actually been a pretty good process over the last few hours, just trying to look at all of the traits and seeing what's rare and what's not. I just wanted to flag it more so to say we should still be supporting this. It is a supporter of NF Teams, and if anybody doesn't have one on the stream, have a look at it. The basic premise is sports tipping every month, every week. You get a tip and comp where you can win ETH. We've actually got a lot, NF Teams is by far the biggest holder, or the NF Teams community is by far the biggest holders of Beard Bears tokens. And it's good banter in the chat, and when the tournaments really start kicking off, I think it's just one of those ones that you can buy one token, you can have a bit of fun with it. The floor is a bit silly at the moment because there's not really that many for sale. The alpha that we got from Damien today on the Twitch stream for the reveal was that he is going to open, it's a 10,000 project that's only sold 730, so straight off the bat you're not going to make yourself a millionaire just by flipping these. But the utility that you get with what they've built is fantastic. They've built a Web3 based tipping service which is live and updates in real time, and I think anyone who's used it, I think it's been optimized now, and it's a really, really good product. At the minute, you almost priced out. You probably wouldn't pay 0.24. Do your own research, but that's probably a bit high. But Damien is going to come up with a bit of a plan to try and make more tokens available. And one of the suggestions was that before every tournament, every week or every couple of weeks, have a 1 or 2 hour window before the tournament for people to buy mint bears at a price which is reasonable, sort of around the floor or just above the floor. So keep an eye out for that, and if you are interested, I'm happy to have a chat with you. But I just wanted to highlight more so just to say well done to Damien. He's persevered when many other people wouldn't have done, and it's absolutely to his credit that the project continues on, and for us token holders we get a bit of utility. Second project I just want to talk about tonight. A few people have asked me about this over the last week, so I thought I would bring this to people's attention. A lot of you in the NF Teams Discord would know about Devolve. Devolve is a deflationary NFT strategy game. That's a mouthful. Break it down. Devolve, the clues in the title, deflationary. It starts off with 5,000 something. I should know that number off by heart. 5,400 and something, I think it is. NFTs, and there's 8 levels where you can essentially burn 2 NFTs to become 1, and every level the numbers that are possible at each level are obviously halved as you go down, and the numbers are such that the maximum you can end up with at the end is 42. Burning NFTs doesn't sound a lot of fun when you've paid a lot of money for them. You are given a burnt NFT as a result of burning your NFTs to devolve into the next stage. And the idea is you start off as a human, you devolve into a caveman, and your humans that you did have become zombies, and you get to keep the NFT as a zombie, which may be worth something. The reason I'm talking about Devolve is it's been off the radar. A lot of us put some time and effort into it about 2 or 3 months ago. It didn't get the traction it needed or deserved, and the guys that are running it, 2 very smart guys who live in Australia, Sort of went into hibernation, had a rethink of the project, and the reason I'm highlighting it here is it is going to be revived. And there is going to be, well, I believe, I'm a mod with Devolve, I'm a mod everywhere now, but I hope that the project, it was quite complicated. The guys have got chess backgrounds. They're actually not as nerdy as what I think I used to call them. They're really good guys, and I'm getting to know them really well. They've got a chess background. They're just super, super smart, but they're back end, largely development type guys. Obviously, the artist in this project is pretty cool. But Devolve is coming back. You'll hear more about this over the next week. It's going to stick to its original plan with regards to the tokens being burnt. Liquidity pools are going to disappear. That was one of the bits that a lot of people struggled with when the light paper came out, and trying to get your head around how you could earn money through liquidity pools. It sort of, the numbers didn't stack up with that. As with a lot of these things, when you've got super geniuses designing them, they tend to make it over complex, and I've said that to the guys, so I'm happy to see it here. We're just going to strip it back a little bit and try to make it a bit more simpler. The game in itself is fantastic. The smart contract is unbelievable with regards to gas, because there's a lot of transactions needed. So I'm sort of shilling this, but it's more just for your information and an update for those of you that are aware of the project. It is coming back, and to look out for that over the next couple of weeks. Just going back to the chat, yeah, I got a nice gold bear. I didn't spend. I can't remember what number it is now. I think it might have been 167, but I got a nice gold bear out of Beard Bears. I've won absolutely nothing. I've modded in that place. Oh, there it is. Look at that. I've modded at Beard Bears for 3 months, and I've I've not won a single. I've not won anything out of that. I've not won any ETH, any prizes. Every single tournament I think we've ever had, I've entered and not won nothing, which probably says a lot about me. But I start refreshing today, and I think this is the second one I got, and I'm chuffed to bits. I don't have a Newcastle United strip yet. I missed one that went at 0.1 today, so I was a bit gutted about that. But yeah, thanks for reminding us, Chintage. That was a nice little pickup that I got today. Moving on from Devolve, Wheel Together. I'm the community manager there with SD, who's a NF Teams regular. We look after the Discord. My focus at the minute is on collaborations. This is an absolute shill in a way, but it's more just to see if you are not in Wheel Together at this floor price. I'll say it's not financial advice. It is. You should be. That's the top and bottom of it. The utility that's available through the tool, being able to look at rarity, being able to mint directly from the contract, the gas tracker, being able to bypass OpenSea when you want to buy. The tool itself is worth 0.087. There's some tools that are similar that you have to buy into. It's 0.5, 0.7, 1 ETH. The Discord is great. Some of the people we have in that Discord, we've got 4,600, nearly 4,700 holders of Alfies, so the NFTs for Wheel Together. The Discord is pumping, really good guys and girls in there making smart calls. It's changed the way I work with NFTs, and definitely changed my fortunes around in terms of the dollars that I'm able to flip and make. And there's a lot more coming. So there is the utility token, the Moon utility token, which will be brought into the ecosystem. It's already there, it's sort of sat around in the background. But the whole premise of Wheel Together is just that alpha group, and the focus that I've had over the last couple of weeks. I took a bit of a step up in this project to that community manager role, and I'm really focusing on engagement through collaborations. And we've really seen over the last week, if any of you are in there, I think we've had 15 collabs now. Whitelist raffles, you're not going to win them all, and then you win some and they don't turn out to be great, but we have had some good ones as well. So I would say if you are absent of an alpha group, pick up an alpha for less than 0.1, get yourself in the alpha chat, start getting familiar with the tool, and it'll change the way you work with NFTs. I think it's just a really smart play at the moment at the current floor price, and I spend about half an hour a day just going through and trying to pick up some extra teams off, some extra alphas off the floor, because I think that price will absolutely go up. In terms of just a financial player, I think in a month the floor price will be closer to 0.14, 0.15, could be even more. So I think even then it's a smart financial player. The last project before we get into the duck races, I just want to bring your attention to. It's one that I stumbled across today, and I should have actually stumbled across it last week when they were giving out OG rules. The White Sands game, it's only been launched last month in terms of Twitter, but it's co-founded by a guy called Adam Hollander. Now, Adam Hollander, for some of you that know from NFTs, is the creator and founder of Hungry Wolves, which is a channel of its own in the NFT strategy Discord category. And there's a few of us that have Hungry Wolves, and I'm not going to talk about that project, but essentially anything that Adam seems to touch does well. He's a software guy, sold a company to Microsoft. It's all about gamification. He came up through, he created like a software package that gamified sales for massive companies and made a lot of money, sold it to Microsoft, bought some Bored Apes, got into NFTs and crypto, and he's Hungry Wolves. I think the floor is around about 0.13, 0.14, but it's a solid project that's building. It's going to sort of have a gamification side to it. But the White Sands is something that came along to me only yesterday. I didn't see it in the Hungry Wolves Discord when they were giving away some OGs. But I actually think this could be, it could be anything that's been built or touches on at the moment. NFT Worlds is just blowing up. And essentially, the idea is they're building what they call luxury homes connected to the metaverse, and they're just partnering with NFT Worlds. Now, I haven't done enough research to know what the utility is in terms of adding on top of that. But what I'm saying to you is, I back the team. I back their collaboration with NFT Worlds in an early stage with less than 10k in the Discord, and given that they're still given well, there's less than 5k in the Discord, there's 6k on Twitter. They're still giving whitelists out. Hard to get. We are trying to get a collab going with them, but it's easier said than done. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Have a look at it. It might not be for you, but anyone who's involved with any of the NFT world stuff, I think this is something that I just wanted to put on people's radar, because I think that's going to be a really high min price actually of 0.5 ETH. I think I saw. But I'll stick a link to the Discord in the shill page of NFTs after this. Joey, I'll stick it in there so you can go and have a look. The Discord's currently open, but if you just type in discord.gg/white sands on there, you'll get into it. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, that wraps it up. I want some feedback on that, guys. If there's anything you want me to talk about, if you like hearing about other projects as part of NFTs, or you want them completely separate, let me know. I rely on you guys to pass that feedback on, so I know what you want to see. I know we've got some regulars and some of you reach out to me, which is great. Okay, heat 4 of 4 for this month. So shout out what you want for your team to enter. If you've won before during the month, you can still win, and you can only win one share out of the two. So if you come first and second, you can only win one of them, but you can win in week 1 and week 4 and have two ducks racing in the final. So what I need a name from anyone on the stream that want entering into the last heat. So if you win this heat, you go straight into the final, which is going to be run straight after this. The Mighty Mallards, Organised Man Bulls, the OG Leopards, make it easier for me. Time to Shine Speedsters. I don't know if you made that an actual team, Shintage. I haven't seen that one, but if you change the name to that, it would be funny. Denmark, have you got front runner? Is that your team? Is that the name you're going to put in there? Poker Mad Hatter. Are you having poker? Is that what you've gone for? I'll put it in there just in case. Let's have a look. Mighty Mallards, Organised Man Balls, original, the Greek Pandas. Oh, I love that. I love the pandas. I need to buy one. I haven't got one anymore. The Wuhan Kings. Yeah, okay. The Mighty Pandas. Oh, we've got a couple of pandas. I'm going to trade off against each other. Okay, so what have we got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 10. We've got 13 on the stream. Who have I missed? Wuhan, Panda, Leopards, Man Bulls, Mighty Mallards, Speedsters, Leprechauns. Got 10. Anybody else on the stream that doesn't see their name up here? Let me know. You got 10 seconds. While I have another slurp of the nice, crisp Mountain Goat. Very enjoyable beer. Okay. Poker Mad Hatter, what do you want your duck name to be in the heat? I know you're already through to the final, but you can win twice. Anybody else for anything else? 5 seconds, or I'm going to close it down. We've got 9 in the race. The top 3. Oh, the Mighty Pandas is you as well. Okay. So nobody else is called out. We've got 9 in the race. 3 of these teams will go through, so you've got a really good chance. Let's load up 60 seconds on the clock, and we will go. Oh, these aren't very good. These are pretty average, aren't they? These, we haven't got no... Oh, a bit disappointed by that random draw. Okay, we've got 55 seconds. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay. Pouncing Leprechauns taking an early lead, and the OG Leopards. Now, Lane 7 has won this more often than not, so the Greek Pandas, nice in mid-position there. Got a bit of cover, just stalking its prey. Organised Man Bulls didn't like the pace of the race, so it's taken a bit of a front lead, positioned itself well. And the Wuhan Kings, out in lane 9, the Mighty Pandas, you might as well write it off now. It's going to come from the back, isn't it? The Time to Shine Speedster is just holding its own in there. Mallards and Leprechauns bouncing back in lane 1 and lane 2. You know, there's nothing differentiating these guys here. There's a lot of normal ducks in here. Right, you've got 15 seconds to go. Who's going to make a break? Oh, it's the Mallards, isn't it? The Mallards is coming. Oh, the Pandas is coming. The 2 Panda teams are coming. The Mighty Mallards is coming. Oh, who's going to win this? The Mighty Mallards has slowed down. Is it going to hold on? The Pandas are coming as well. Oh, look at that across the line. That is unbelievable. I think we've got the Wuhan Kings and the Mighty Pandas. Yeah, we have. So the Mighty Mallards. Let's get these in here. The Mighty Mallards. The Mighty Pandas. Should get some of these names right, shouldn't I? And the Wuhan Kings all go through. Now I think, yeah, the Mighty Pandas. So that means the Poker Mad Hatter's got 2. 2 into the final, which is obviously going to give a pretty good chance. He'd be gutted if he didn't get a share. Who else got through there? The Wuhan Kings, Joey V. Joey V said he was going to do it. He said he was going to win the heat and win the final and take home a share. So Joey V's in there. And who was the Mighty Mallards? Joey V must be 100 to 1 for the final after that run. Well, it's going to be gassed, but you never know. I've seen some backup, some pretty well. And Justice has got his second team in, so 2 Justice teams, 2 Pokemon Data teams. And so I think Justice, so the set piece Undead, Toss and Chips, Coffin Ducklands is Brandon, NZ Quackers is Maria, Alan, Pudgy Mallards was Justice, the Guarded Emperors is Denoir, the Baggy Green Longhorns is MJ, Thrashing Goblins is Cheese, Minting Bulls is Pokemon Hatter, and the Mad Mother Duckers is Shintage. And then obviously we've got the 3 that have just come on today. Right, so this is it. So this is going to be a 60-second race. Whoever comes first and second here gets the share in the Rebuilding Drakes, and I'll reach out to you and we'll just work out how we're going to set up a chat to do the tips and work out what we do with the team. Good luck, everybody. There's a few of you with a 2 in. There's a bit more. People have bought their best dressed here. There's no Donald Trump. Denmark's going to be disappointed, but here we go. Let's get it underway. Good luck, everybody. Maria's just signed in. Alan, good to see you there, mate. Okay, so the Mighty Mallards, after its a great run there, and the Mad Mother Duckers early. The NZ Quackers, Alan's gone out really early. I don't know if I like this. The Mighty Mallards and the NZ Quackers, I think the pace is too hot. The Mad Mother Duckers just sneaking in behind them, but that 3 way out in front. Coffin Ducklands and Set Piece Undead there in lane 2 and lane 1 respectively. The Pudgy Mallards just stalking the prey there in lane 4. Guarded Emperors and the Green Longhorns just sitting there in midfield. The Bulls and the Mighty Pandas all the way at the back, and then the Wuhan Kings obviously showing some fatigue from the backing up straight after the last heat. Yeah, stop the race. NZ Quackers have died. Oh my God, the Mallards are coming. NZ Quackers are coming back. They're all coming. This is going to be an absolute blanket finish. There's no way you call this. The Mighty Mallards are looking really good. Where's coming through? The Minton Bulls. Who's coming through? Superman's coming as well. The Pudgy Mallards. Who's going to get it? So the Mighty Mallards and the Mighty Pandas. So they've gone back to back. The Mighty Mallards and the Mighty Pandas. So Poker Mad Hatter has won. He had 2 teams in it. And then the Mighty Mallards it's Justice. I think it's Justice. Let's have a look. No, sorry, the Mighty Mallards and the Mighty Pandas. So the Mighty Pandas is Poker Mad Hatter, and then the Mighty Mallards is Justice. So well done, guys. Sorry, the Pudgy Mallards, just missing out there in 3rd place. I thought that Superman was going to actually do it at the end there, absolutely coming back. But the Pudgy Mallards was actually Justice as well. So Justice has come 1st and 3rd, so well deserved to actually get a share. And Joy V, sorry mate, just missed out. Minton Balls and NZ Quackers in 4th and 5th. I think went out too hard there, Alan, mate. I think you spent your tickets early. So the Mighty Mallards and the Mighty Pandas. Maybe there's something in the name. Lane 10 and lane 11. Maybe it was a bit of a track out there. You both now have 25% ownership of the rebuilding Drakes. We will speak to you offline. Appreciate. We've had a bit of fun with this month. We'll do the same thing next month again. If you've got any ideas for the stream, anything you want to see, anything, I'm happy to do it. I've got a bit more time on my hands to do this sort of stuff now. Just want to say thanks again, supporting the channel for the month. I'll do a screen grab of this. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, there'll be more of that alpha stuff coming on the big show as we go through. We'll go through March. We'll wrap it up there. It's been a longer one. Thanks for everyone logging in. Well done, Justice. Well done, Poker Mad Hatter. I'll speak to you all in the Discord. Thanks very much, lads. I'll see you later.